Fucking awesome intro, Nick. All right, welcome back, everyone, to episode 2 of my podcast, right? Today, we are going to be discussing the alien disclosure movement since 2017. And anyone who knows me on a personal level knows I am obsessed with this subject matter, and it is one of my all-time favorites. So we're going to have a deep dive on this one. I would like my guests to introduce themselves at this point.
Michael Maverick, locally hated musician and well-loved by my mom.
Takoda Geyer, just me.
And I'm Don Ramirez, and the man behind the control panel is my friend Nick. So, Nick, let's cue up that first video and get this conversation started.
The current UFO renaissance was sparked by this now famous footage, the 2004 Tic Tac encountered by naval aviators from the USS Nimitz. Well, tonight, there's another video that is sending shockwaves through the UFO community. Stunning new footage of a purported UAP, or unidentified aerial phenomenon, as UFOs are now called. It resembles a jellyfish flying in the sky, its tentacles dangling, I guess, in the air. This video was released by UFO expert Jeffrey Corbell on his X page. Corbell says it was shot by the military using thermal imaging cameras as this whatever it is, flew over a U.S. military base in Iraq. To be clear, News Nation has not independently verified the authenticity of the video, and other videos like this have been debunked in the past. Bottom line is, we don't know what this thing is or what it isn't right now. But we have reached out to the Pentagon for comment. News Nation senior national correspondent Brian Enton has been delving into it all afternoon. He joins us now. What can you tell us more about the circumstances of how this video was recorded and what time of day it was and how long this thing was flying around?
Yeah, Elizabeth, it certainly doesn't look like some of the other videos of UFOs that we've seen. Corbell says, right, the footage is from October of 2018. It was at a United States joint operations base taken in Iraq, and it was taken at night using a military thermal camera. And you can see when you look at it why the object has been nicknamed the jellyfish, because it does sort of look like a jellyfish, sort of with those tentacles there. You can see it floating across the sky as it reportedly moved above the military base. Now, it then moved over a body of water. This is where it gets interesting. According to Jeremy Corbell, it descended into the water where it was fully submerged for 17 minutes. This was also caught on video, apparently, before coming back out of the water and shooting off at a high rate of speed. The UFO researcher who obtained the video, who we've been talking about, Jeremy Corbell, he is the same person who first was able to uncover the Tic Tac video and reported on it, which was verified by the military as real, which is one of the reasons so many people are looking at this video so closely. That Tic Tac video, you mentioned it, it's from 2004. It was shot by fighter pilots, and it shows what sort of looks like a Tic Tac-like object that the pilots could not explain that they saw in the air that was shot with their military cameras. Again, this latest video, the jellyfish, not verified by the government. We have reached out to the Pentagon, but as of now, have not gotten a response. And with that Tic Tac video, Elizabeth, it took years for the Pentagon to finally acknowledge that it was a real video.
Yeah, and the pilots were silenced for a long time initially from talking out about it. Thanks so much for watching.
That's good. All right. Michael, had you seen the footage of the jellyfish UFO before?
I had not, no.
What's your impression of that?
Well, I mean, I don't know. I mean, part of it almost looks like CGI, but then you're like, you know, it's kind of like once you see something that's, you know, that you can't understand or that you don't know about or that, you know, it all looks fake. Like you see something that like you've never seen before and you're like, this looks fucking fake. But the reality of it is that, I mean, that came from somewhere. And the rumors of aliens and the rumors of stuff like that came from fucking somewhere. People don't just pull this shit out of their ass. But I do believe it's possible for both to be true, that aliens are real and people are full of shit. You know, I mean, I don't know. I can't really make heads or tails of that. I want it to be real, but, you know, I'm not going to sit here and be like, that's fucking real. Because I don't know.
Takoda, had you seen the footage before?
No. And it's, I mean, you don't know because they can do stuff with AI now. And it's like,
Oh, yeah.
yeah. It's
Well, I
crazy.
can only assure you guys that this footage is not faked in any way. Jeremy Corbell, the guy behind this footage, is the leading voice of the alien. I'll give you guys a little bit of an education lesson right now, fellas.
Hell yeah.
This begins in 2017. The New York Times releases an article where they confirm that the Pentagon continues to investigate UFOs, but they call it unidentified aerial phenomena. So there's this whistleblower named Alejandro. I can't remember the guy's last name. Luis Alejandro works for the Pentagon, leaves the Pentagon, and he actually releases 3 classified videos from the Pentagon, right? These 3 videos, all shot by naval pilots on state-of-the-art military cameras. They're clearly technology that we don't have. Trump is part of this alien disclosure thing, right? When the very first Corona bill is signed, President Trump has written into law that all of these federal agencies have to release their information on UFOs, blah, blah, blah. It never truly happens. There have been 2 federal hearings. There are multiple deep what are they called? Deep leaks, whistleblowers, right? That want to come forward and talk about this. Jeremy Corbell's first documentary is on Bob Lazar, who in 1989 came forward and said he worked at Area 51 on UFOs. And if anything, Bob Lazar has been proven right. We know more now than we ever have, but we don't know the ultimate truth. Tucker Carlson, I have never been a fan of Tucker Carlson's politics, but he is a leading voice in disclosure, right? For whatever reason, Tucker Carlson and Joe Rogan are the ones that are helping to get this information out there. Tucker says that Roswell happened. There is an active alien retrieval program. There's another major whistleblower named David Grush. I'm sorry, I shouldn't have came too close to the mic. David Grush. Yeah. So Tucker says that he has been pushed in the direction of the film The Abyss, right? He calls them supernatural beings. I guess in ways that we don't understand, because clearly the technology being used are technology that's even beyond us. Yeah. So, Michael, how long have you followed? Tell us about your thoughts on aliens, UFOs. I mean, because this has been part of the conspiracy theory forever, right? So to have this is the one thing I can't stress enough, right? The monumental change for me is the Pentagon, for the first time ever, says with aliens, this UAP thing, they go, could be.
Yeah.
Could be. They said it, they haven't, in their report, could be.
Yeah.
That's a huge change from, no, motherfucker, you're crazy, you belong in a straitjacket, put the tinfoil hat back on.
Yeah. Well, I think aliens come to Earth just to fuck around. I really do. I don't think they have a mission, because think about it. Like, what if, we as humans went into some undiscovered part of like the Congo, and there was a super advanced group of chimpanzees, and all they did, and they had invented cell phones and rocket launchers, and all they did was take pictures of their dick and shoot each other in the face. Would we teach them anything? No. And do white aliens teach us anything? No, because we're fucking crazy. We're stupid. But I do think they're real. I 100% think they do. I think you're naive to think we're the only ones out there. I think that whole thing about aliens aren't real, I think you're naive to think that, because this universe is infinite. Okay, infinite meaning it's constantly getting bigger, which to me, I don't know, it doesn't make any sense. Nothing makes any sense. But like everything is constantly getting bigger. So, you know, and it was recently discovered that everybody thought that the universe was expanding outwards and upwards, but what's actually happening, and I think it was Neil deGrasse Tyson that said this, is that it's actually expanding inwards. The universe is expanding inwards somehow, and it's like it's coming in somehow, and it's yet getting bigger. And you know, this ties in with, you know, the multiverse theory and things of that nature, that, you know, we're crossing paths with different universes and we're finding ourselves in different universes. We're like, what the fuck? That was never like that. Well, yes, it was. You know, that whole Mandela effect thing. And I think aliens and space and all that can all kind of be tied into that one thing. I think you're crazy to think we're not the only ones, or I think you're crazy to think we're the only ones out there, if anybody thinks that we're the only ones out there. They're definitely real, and I definitely do believe they've been here to Earth, but I don't believe that they're here for any specific reason other than to explore and essentially fuck around.
I actually have something completely different.
Yeah, me too.
So, what I think they are, all right, coming from like a religious point of view, I read the book of Enoch, right? They could be the fallen angels disguising themselves as aliens, being like world leaders and stuff. Because if you read that, it like kind of fills in the gaps of what the Bible doesn't say, right? I mean, some people don't believe it. I believe it because it's in the Ethiopian Bible, which is the oldest Bible in the world. So, yeah, it could be the fallen angels that came down, disguised themselves as aliens, being from a different universe, you know, being the ones kicked out of heaven ruling things, because the ones that were kicked out were in the book of Enoch, it says they were supposed to kind of guide us in the right direction, like tempt us to do right things. But if you look at how demons are now, they tempt us to do bad things. So, you know what I mean? It could be them.
I found myself with the book of Enoch. Let me think. Paradise Lost, I think, is the name of the book, right? By Milton. And Satan is this tragic hero, and his line is, it's better to rule in hell than to serve in heaven.
Yeah.
You know? So I think this even if early man has experienced aliens in whatever form they're coming into, for them to subscribe godlike qualities to them would make sense. For me, some of the things that have always made me a believer, right? You know, of course, this phenomena has been going around forever, like, you know, at least since World War II, when pilots are reporting Foo Fighters. You have, I believe his name is Robert Arnold, who's the first one that spots the discs above, I think it's Mount Rainier, in the late 50s, and calls them flying saucers. So this phenomena is nothing new, right? For me, and you know, they spend a lot of time on ancient aliens on this site called Puma Punku in the highlands of Bolivia, right? There's this incredible fucking stonework that you would have had to have technology at least as good as what we have today to be able to accomplish this. This stuff is cut into granite and diorite, some of the hardest stone on the planet, you know. And this they believe it was some type of temple or something, was so eloquently built out of these incredibly huge stones. They're called the H blocks. And at some point, someone blew it up, right? So this site is blown up all over. What does the military do when they leave a base? What were we supposed to do in Afghanistan? We were supposed to blow up all that fucking equipment, but that shit is being paraded by the Taliban today. Anyway, I digress. So, Michael.
Well, so I think that from what I've gathered, what I've seen and things that I've read and what I know, and and when I say things that I've read and things I know, I'm talking about based on the actual factual pieces of it. Nothing about saying aliens are real or anything like that. Just ignoring that part for a minute. Every time that there is a near nuclear event is when there's an uptick in UFO sightings, and I believe that that we are being watched and studied by the aliens, and I think that they play a huge hand in everything that goes on in the world. I don't believe, but I think it's a very big possibility that they helped speed up the evolution process. But the very first official report of a UFO sighting was after the bombings of Hiroshima and Nagasaki. It was the very first report of a UFO sighting. And I think that was aliens going, all right, these fucking chimps are over here blowing each other up. Right. They learned how to split the atom. We got to figure out what the fuck's going on over there. And then they come here and they study us and they watch us. And every time there's been a near nuclear event, during the Cold War, the amount of UFO sightings during the Cold War is fucking unbelievable. Like they're saying that there's all over the country. Russia, let's see, it was Russia, it was China, U.S. All these different countries were reporting different UFO sightings. And here's the crazy part is during the Cold War, we almost got nuked by Russia. A lot of people don't know that, but we almost got nuked by Russia. There was a Russian submarine that had nuclear warheads on board. And there was actually, and he was in international waters, but he was close to U.S. soil. And there was explosions going on around him in the water. And what that was U.S. testing their defense systems. They thought it was an attack from the U.S. So they were like, all right, well, we're going to go ahead and send a warhead over into the United States. And something happened to their equipment. It failed. Their equipment failed. And then I think it was like 3 months later, there was another UFO sighting in Russia somewhere. So that tells me that I think that if we want to send a nuke, they have shit that can stop that. And they're like, no, you're not going to do that. We're going to watch you and study you. So I definitely believe that aliens play a huge hand in everything that goes on in the world.
Takoda?
Yeah. It's one of those things you kind of got to guess, It's like, has anyone really captured footage, or was it fake? It's like Bigfoot almost. It's like,
oh, fuck Bigfoot.
Right. Yeah. No. Yeah.
I have a whole spiel about that.
Right. I believe there's a lot more forensic evidence that would support the hypothesis that the alien phenomena is real. Right.
Yeah. Including
this video footage is coming out. I definitely believe that if they're real, there's an agenda. So here's something to get this topic or discussion going a little bit. I'm a huge fan, and I want to dedicate this episode to Art Bell, right? Radio AM late night conspiracy theories. Like, the guy had an amazing radio show on Saturday nights in Frederick, Maryland. They did, it was him, Whitley Strieber, young George Norrie, one conspiracy alien thing after another. And I would spend my Saturday nights in my art studio listening to that stuff, making my artwork, right? Yeah. I was listening to the Art Bell. I just got back from Central America. I backpacked Central America for my 30th birthday, my greatest adventure. And when I came home, the Hale-Bopp comet was in the sky, right? So I would see it in the sky, at night. It'd be in a different part when my grandma and I got up. And I loved that I shared that with her. But I was coming home from work, and I'm listening to Art Bell, and I heard the whole episode that leads up to the Heaven's Gate cult mass suicide, right?
Right.
So the next day, there's this Heaven's Gate. If you don't know the Heaven's Gate story, it's probably the most bizarre one in the UFOlogy lore.
100%.
Largest mass suicide in the United States. In 95, I actually went to Roswell, New Mexico. I visited the crash site and the newly opened UFO museum. I got to talk to one of the guys that is featured in the Unsolved Mysteries episode on Roswell from the 80s that claims to have been on the air base. He claims to have brought a casket, children's casket, and he sees a nurse that does these descriptions of the alien beings from Roswell. So, Michael, I'm going to pass to you again on the alien thing. Do you believe that we could be in collusion with an alien species? Could we be trading for their technology? Are we willing, there are people in the UFO community believe that there was actually a treaty signed between, I believe, the Eisenhower or the guy after Eisenhower's administration and alien representatives that gives them the right to basically abduct and experiment on human beings. Tucker Carlson has said there's parts of the alien disclosure movement that information that absolutely terrifies him.
I don't know. It's a difficult question to answer because there's so much unanswered, on that. And I think I think what leads me to believe that we are not in any kind of cahoots with aliens or anything like that is because we are far too cocky. And I think that we would think we could kick the aliens' ass. And that's what scares me a little bit, because it's kind of like, I read this thing, and this is how stupid and cocky humans are. I read this thing, and it was like talking about the biggest animal that you think you could beat in a fight. The amount of fucking morons that I saw that picked chimp really upset me. I'm like, a chimp will beat you like a dirty rug with one arm, as in rip your arm off and beat you like a dirty rug with it. And, why would we come to a treaty with aliens if they're coming here and abducting people? We're far too cocky. We'll think we could take them. There's so many people out there like, I could fuck up an alien, 100%. I totally could. And no, you can't, because if they're figuring out how to get here, they have technology that could level this entire planet. So I think that what we're doing is leaving them alone. I think they're coming here, and if they're abducting people and the government knows about it, let's say for a minute the government knows about it, which they probably do, but let's just say it's 100% guaranteed fact that they're allowing it and they know about it, because there is nothing that we could do that would fuck with their shit. There is no way they would go back to their planet and go, damn, Earth goes pretty fucking hard. There's no shot, no chance. They would annihilate us. So I think that they have no choice. I think it's like they showed up and like, we're going to do this whether you like it or not, and if you don't like it and you try to do something about it, we're going to fucking kill you all.
I think you brought up a good point there, if I can chime in.
Shoot, Nick.
So he just said, if they make it to within the point that they could get to Earth, like, they're already superior to us. The farthest we've gone is the moon.
Yeah.
Right? And that, granted, we got the things on Mars and we got the things out in outer space, but there's nobody on those things, right?
Yeah.
So if they are coming here, they're already more superior to what we are, which is part of the reason why I think, I think when Trump was president the first time, he had said, I'm going to declassify stuff. We're going to talk about the aliens and Area 51 and whatnot. And it never came out because, I think it exposes the fact that we are not superior to anybody in the grand scheme of things. So yeah, I think that's a funny take that you mentioned that.
I also want to follow up. We have 2 fucking American astronauts stuck up on the International Space Station. Like, fuck, ET, please,
Yeah.
Oh, man. All right, I'll throw this one out to you, too. One of the subjects in the 90s I always struggled with this UFO thing was whether or not there was actually more than one species of aliens visiting the planet. I had grown up with the whole idea of the Greys, right? That was my idea of what the alien was. That's what flew the spaceships in Roswell. They were the little guys that took Betty and Barney Hill in the 60s. They were the ones responsible for missing time. But in the 90s, this whole notion that there were more than one, they would, that they talked about the Nordics, they've talked about the reptilians, the Greys, and I believe I've heard about, I've even heard there's as many as like 20 different species, which I thought was 20 different fucking species have fucking space travel. Get the fuck out of here. But your thoughts on the possibility that there's more than one ET visiting us?
I've never looked at it that way, but it's 100% possible. I mean, think about it, how infinite and big the universe is. I mean, we're not talking about big as in like, oh, you go to Russia and it's really big, or oh, Earth's really big. No, Earth is fucking puny. Like, looking at Earth in comparison to the universe, go to the beach and pick up a grain of sand. That's Earth. And the rest of the grains of sand are different universes, or not universes, but galaxies and stars. And, you know, how many species of life do you think is actually out there? It's infinite. You could never count it. So do I believe that there's a possibility that there's 20 species of fucking
ETs.
Yeah, of extraterrestrials out there that are visiting Earth? Fuck yeah, I do. I think it's very possible. But you know, the alien thing is kind of weird for me because I've never believed in like cryptids or anything like that. I think that's all full of shit. Like, he brought up Bigfoot earlier, and I have a whole spiel about Bigfoot. If you're interested in me going on that tangent, I am more than happy.
We'll save that for another episode.
Yeah, but like with aliens, though, I think it's the only one that's 150% possible, just because of how gigantic the universe is and how we can't even grasp how big it is.
There's
like
a video playing right now that kind of gives you an example of the the internet.
I've seen this video. It's fucking out. Like, you're like, what the fuck? Like, it's unbelievable.
I believe
I'll just let it play while you guys chat.
Yeah.
No, and with that, I believe it's Europa that they report signs of what we would call single cell life, primitive life, right? They believe that Europa could have a volcanic core underneath of this ocean, which on the surface facing the space is frozen, but you can see these fractures on the surface of Europa that are brown, that they're discolored, and they believe that those could be, you know, primitive life forms that are existing on these floating icebergs, because we have critters that live in conditions as, you know, as difficult as some of those in space.
Yeah. And our sun, look at our sun. Look how fucking like big it is compared to us, and look how tiny it is compared to everything else. Like, Jesus Christ. And, you know, I talked about the multiverse theory a little bit, and I'm a full believer in the multiverse theory. And, you know, I mean, everything with the physics and the quantum dynamics of everything, it totally adds up. It all makes sense.
What do you picture aliens to look like?
Good question.
I mean, obviously, when you say the word alien, everybody thinks little green men. But I think they look like something we can't understand. And I think that's why there's no... Think of like an ant, right? Think of an ant. Okay, ant's walking down in the grass, and you're walking by the ant. That ant has no fucking idea that you're there. Mm-hmm. He doesn't know. He doesn't know you're there until you fuck with his shit. Then he knows you're there. So I think that all the time, aliens are passing by, aliens are doing shit, and we don't even realize that they're there until they decide to fuck with our shit. And that's when you get videos of UFOs and aliens. I think we cannot comprehend, we don't have the brain power to comprehend what they could look like.
Are you familiar with John Carpenter's film They Live, right? The one with Roddy Piper, and I believe it's David Keith. I love Carpenter films. But, you know, I like the idea of the glasses and mind control. So you ask, what would they look like? They have technology that is clearly superior to ours. Wouldn't they have the ability to manipulate our perception of reality? Mm-hmm. Would they just look like Takoda? Would they just look like Maverick, right? Is Maverick the reptilian? And I'm just, you know, if I put glasses on, I can tell that slithery motherfucker's up to no good. Yeah. No, so you know, I think with the subject of the aliens, especially amongst conspiracy theories and theorists, you know, you go back to it makes sense that the CIA or whatever agencies you would want to keep these secrets if they got their hands on alien technology in 1947. I mean, think about what the fuck we were flying in 1947. You know what I'm saying? You also have the weird connection between the Nazis and the early American space program, right? It's Werner von Braun. the Nazi rocket scientist who's brought over from Germany after the collapse of World War II, and Operation Paperclip, where you're bringing the German scientists to America who basically pioneer what becomes NASA, right?
Yeah.
And those guys, the Nazis, they claimed that they were in touch with the aliens, right? There was this secret society called the Thule Society in Germany, and these women would grow their hair like really long, and this hair was an antenna to these aliens, and that they... And, it is rumored that when they talked to von Braun at the end of his life, again, the man who founded NASA, the one that took us to the moon, pictures of him with JFK, pictures of him with Adolf Hitler, you know what I'm saying? But this guy claimed that they had help. How did you guys get this advanced technology? How did you get V2? How did you get I think, is it the V5 rocket or something like that, the one that they launched?
Yeah, something like that.
But, he says we got help. So here we are in 2024 talking about a subject that's been around at least since the 1930s. If that conversation doesn't go away, there's got to be something real, So
there's got to be something there. Like I said, it doesn't come from nowhere. And honestly, like, I kind of wish Donald Trump had just said fuck it and like went up there and just told everybody everything. Like, he just gets up there and he's just, aliens are real. They're here. They're right here next to us. Folks, you know it. I know it. Everybody else knows it. There's one right there. And they're among us, folks. They're walking around us, and they love me. They say, Donald Trump, why do you love the aliens so much? I say, because you're great people. I really wish he would have done that.
Yeah, that was great, Michael. I loved it. There is a great interview that he does with Donald, right? Or with Donald, with the son. And look, man, you watch that shit and he's telling you, yep, these fuckers are real. I can't straight up tell you, but yeah, they're there,
Yeah.
And I so I think he wants us to know. And, I don't know. I very much hope to know in my lifetime. It would mean a lot, for good, bad, or for indifferent. And we'll bring this... we can talk a little bit more, but bringing it to a close, right? We got to talk about an agenda, right? If these motherfuckers came across the cosmos, there's an agenda. And I don't believe that it would be altruistic. I think that's the word, altruistic. We have never, when we crossed the great seas, there's nothing fucking good that came of that, right? We fucked up the Africans. We fucked up the Americas. We fucked up Asia. I mean, we colonized, exploited. So that would be my greatest concern, that there's something like us with the same motivating factors that we have. And that could be a terrifying conclusion to this question.
Big time. I mean, the goal of scientific perfection drives human creativity ever onward, and it's pushing us, and it pushes us to explore, and it pushes us to find these things. And that's why you had Christopher Columbus coming through, and it's crazy how stories manifest, right? Like Christopher Columbus is like, oh, I saw mermaids. No, he saw manatees. He just thought they were mermaids. And
Columbus also reported seeing UFOs.
He did. And there's a painting, I don't know if you've ever actually seen it. There's a painting that Leonardo da Vinci did, and I don't remember what painting it was, but there's a little flying thing in the background, and it's like, the fuck is that, you know? And you got the pyramids, the ancient Egyptians, these stones, these bricks, 2.5 tons a piece, and they're lifting them fucking 80 feet in the air. They didn't have cranes. They didn't have they've done the math and they've crunched the numbers. There's no shot that those would get finished in that day.
Precision cuts. I mean, just precision.
Perfect angles.
Precision.
And the stone quarry that they're getting them from is 50 miles south in the desert. I'm sorry, I don't know what you think happens when people walk through 50 miles through the desert, but they die. is what happens.
I have my own thing about the pyramids, right?
Yeah.
So, I think it was giants.
Go on with it.
I think we had giants back then. All right, the
Yeah.
Bible says that there was giants. All right, if you look at the pictures on the pyramids, why is some people little and then you have some people
Yeah.
really like bigger than all the other people that's drawn on there? You're telling me that they would draw something inaccurately?
Yeah.
I think we had giants. The flood came, wiped them out, and that's how the
How
pyramids
is
were
it
built.
that the water rises and the giants die, but the people don't?
There are rumors of finding giant skeletons in West Virginia.
They
no
definitely
less,
exist. They definitely
that
existed at some
were
point.
confiscated by the National Smithsonian and held from the public.
Yeah.
So there is, some credibility to the possibility that there were giants that helped. I look at those monolithic sites that are out there, all the ones that are heavily featured in Ancient Aliens, right? I mentioned Puma Punku earlier, and same like what you were mentioning with the Great Pyramids. The quarry is a great distance away. You have to cross 2 rivers with 50-ton rocks, blocks, just stuff that were expected that was done with Stone Age technology. But the one thing I want to say, I'm 58, right? So this subject is something I've followed for a long time. It's amazing to see how much has changed in our view of the universe and what's there and what we can see. But also history. I've watched how long, when I was in college, they believed man and civilization was 25,000 years old. Now I think that thing has been pushed back to 70. I've heard other crazy numbers, right? So other civilizations could have risen and could have fallen, and we see the remnants of once great societies.
Yeah.
So,
I hate to be that guy.
closing thought. Let's do it.
Oh, okay.
No, what were you going to say?
I was going to ask. I know it's way off, but I don't know if it could be edited.
No, throw it in.
Can I use the bathroom real quick?
Well, no, we can do. Let's go ahead and do a wrap. So,
Oh, okay.
Look,
That's
how far are we into this? What's our time? You're at 40 minutes. Good.
Perfect.
I
okay.
think this was a great conversation, and it was
Yeah.
a lot of fun. I definitely suggest people check out what's going on with the alien disclosure movement. Tom DeLonge of Blink 182 is one of the main voices. He has To the Stars Academy. There's this entrepreneur named Robert Bigelow that claims to have alien metamaterial. He wants alien disclosure so he can market it, right? So he can start making stuff. But Jeremy Corbell, I asked everyone to start with Jeremy Corbell. Watch his Bob Lazar documentary. Till the next time.
Yes, sir.